Hello and welcome to the Sparky AI review channel. This is your host, Jeff. So we are about to close out 2024. Today is the 30th of December as I record this. And today's topic is a part of the failure series of the different things I've tried in the past that have not worked for me, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. That's not to say that they can't work for other people. It just didn't work for me. And then we'll talk about insurance. So very similar to real estate, you have to go get licensed. And an insurance license isn't as bad as the real estate license because the real estate, it's much more detailed. However, insurance has its own unique challenges. So for insurance, you got to go take some education courses, although you can do like an online course, and then you've got to go take a proctored test. That's just like the real estate, and you got to go get fingerprinted. So you got your licensing fees and registration fees. There's no association fees like you have for real estate, but the commission levels are not as high as real estate. But then you're making a lot more sales. So most of insurance is life insurance, and life insurance. I mean, insurance is a very broad, word. I mean, you've got life insurance, you've got health insurance, you've got property and casualty insurance. There's all kinds of different insurance products out there, but I focus mainly on life insurance um, and health insurance. So with life insurance, there's a tremendous need out in America for life insurance, and there's a lot of people who have no insurance, they have no savings whatsoever, and if they were to die, then their families are in deep trouble, and they don't even have money to cover funeral expenses. One of the products, life insurance products that I was selling was final expense. So I had been with many different companies, and they're pretty much most of them. There's some unique differences, but most of them are all the same. Um, yeah, people acknowledge that they need this product. This is a product that they need, but it's not sexy. I mean, people, when they think about spending money, they're thinking about an iPhone or a vacation or something fun. Insurance is an intangible thing. It's an absolute necessity, but it's something that people like don't really want to think about. People do not want to think about their own demise. Everybody knows we're all going to die eventually, and we just don't know when that day is going to come. And most people, if not everyone, knows someone who has died prematurely and has no plan whatsoever, and their families are devastated. And there's plenty of stories in the insurance community where, both where an insurance agent was persistent and got with a particular family, and they were able to get that person insured, and then immediately after they purchased, that person died immediately, and the family was saved, and it was, but not for the tenacity of the insurance agent, that family would have been in deep trouble. And conversely, there's a lot of stories where that person was going to buy the insurance but put it off. They didn't have the money in their account or something, and then they died. And the family is like just just screwed. You know, it's not a pleasant thing to talk about. And especially when you're dealing with like final expense insurance, which most senior citizens and all that have no insurance, and they don't even have enough money in the bank to cover their funeral arrangements. And a lot of seniors do not want to burden their children. I mean, these seniors have no money and they have no inheritance to give their children. The very last thing they want to leave their kids is the burden of having to deal with their remains and their final expenses. But it happens all the time, and it's just something people don't want to think about. It's something that they don't want to deal with. I can't say that I blame them. I really can't. You call somebody up on the phone and they're watching The Price is Right, or they're eating dinner, or they're spending time with loved ones, or they're doing some kind of fun activity, and you're like, "Hi, this is Jeff, and I'm calling with this life insurance company, and I'd like to talk to you about insurance." And you filled out a request for final expense insurance. Now what are you going to do, John, if you die today? How is Mary going to take care of of the kids, or do you want your daughter sued to have to cover your headstone and your casket? And do you know that the costs of funeral expenses are going up, and even cremations are getting more and more expensive? And you know what? This is not a happy topic that people want to talk about. You know, um, People want to enjoy their lives, and I personally, and then this is just my self-talk. I understand. I fully get it, because there's a lot of people who are very successful in insurance, but my own self-talk is like, this is not something that I like to talk about. When you talk to people about confronting their own mortality, they are really strange. They know they need this, and they may have even asked you to call them. This is the craziest thing. A lot of people will subconsciously say, they'll see an ad for insurance, they'll see it on Facebook ads, or they'll see, when they're watching, cable television, there'll be an ad like about getting final expense insurance, and they'll be like, "Oh, I definitely need to get this information. I definitely need to do this." And then they'll request the information, and then they'll forget about it, and then you'll call them, you'll follow up with them a few days after they requested it, and they're not happy that you called them, because now they're confronted with this unhappy reality that their life, that they're mortal, and this is an expense, and this is something that they got to deal with. And a lot of senior citizens, and frankly everybody, not just senior citizens, are living on a fixed income. And the commercials that are on television don't help, because you'll see these commercials for like companies like Colonial Penn and all that, and they'll have, you can get insurance, you can get life insurance with no medical exam for as low as like 19.95 a month. Well, when they're saying this, in the bottom of the commercial, there's all this fine print, and the fine print says that this is for like 1 unit of insurance, and it's like if you have no medical conditions whatsoever. Yeah, there may not be any medical exam, but they're going to ask you medical questions. So you got to qualify with the medical questions, and you got to be within a certain age, and in a certain, living in a certain part of the country, and you got to meet, that price that you're seeing on the screen is as low as, for as little insurance as you can buy. So when the insurance agent is contacting the person who asked for this information, and then you do a needs analysis, and they have to go get a graded policy, or they need a modified policy or a graded policy, or they have all these health problems, or they're old, they're really old, they're going to find that insurance, they're not getting, they're going to pay an astronomical amount of money for insurance. That's why, if you ask an insurance agent, if you're a young person and you're listening to this, you want to buy insurance when you're young and have it. And I know there's different insurance companies out there, like it used to be like A.L. Williams, now it's called Prime America, where people would buy term and invest the difference. And there's a lot of sense to that. But also, whole life insurance is also where you buy the insurance when you're young. You'll have the policy for the rest of your life, and there's benefits to that as well. So, but it's expensive, and it's like when people really get the quote, there's a lot of sticker shock. I was like, wait, what happened to the 1995 that I saw on the television set? And then you have to explain to them that's 1 unit of insurance, and that's not going to cover all the things that they need, and it's only for the youngest people who are in the healthiest conditions with no medical issues whatsoever, and most people don't qualify for those particular rates. When you get to be in your, there's a lot of people out there that they're actually insurance shopping, because they either have some serious medical problems, and they can't get any type of insurance, without it being astronomical. And it's a real shame. So you want to get insurance when you're young and healthy, and have a policy in place and maintain that policy, and not wait until you're sick, you know, not wait until you're old and sick and then say, oh, you know what, I need insurance. It's too late then. It really is too late. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg, literally. But as far as operating insurance as a business, it's an unhappy topic. There's a lot of people, they're funny about it. Like I said, it's easier to have somebody plan their vacation than it is to have them plan for their funeral. But the funeral is going to come. It's just a question of when. We know for sure the only two certainties in life are death and taxes. So the funeral is coming. It's just a question of when, and people don't want to hear that. So I had a lot of issues. Insurance leads are very expensive. Getting the right lead source is really challenging. And a lot of times I would have my phone app, and then some of the best leads to get are the live transfer leads. But even those leads, I would get like a little message that pops up on my phone, and it would say, we have a live transfer available, and you only have a few seconds to decide whether you want to do this or not. But it'll be like, a live transfer is available. Do you want to accept the live transfer? And pressing the accept button means that your credit card would be charged $35 or whatever the fee was. Usually around, I think it was the time when I was doing live transfers, about $35. And, almost always you get the live transfer, and they're just in the information gathering phase. They're not really like super motivated. Some people are. I just didn't encounter any. I just encountered people that just wanted a quote, or or just was in the information. And people be like, oh well, okay, well thanks anyway. I'm sorry to waste your time. I'm not interested after all. I changed my mind. Happened all the time. Because it's like people know that they need to have insurance, but they don't want to spend $100 a month for $15,000 worth of final expense insurance, but they're like 78 years old and has got medical conditions or whatever the situation is, and that's the best that they can do, and that's the best. Those are the best rates, because I had been contracted with many different insurance companies, and it was just too much. I mean, it was just I'm spending money. Like I just wasted my time, and I wasted $35. I could have went out to lunch and taken my wife out to lunch, and instead I might as well have just taken $35, went in my backyard and just lit it on fire, and got some better enjoyment than talking about death to somebody who needs what I have to offer, but they're not going to do it. They see what it's going to cost, and they're living on a fixed income, and they just decide, no, I'll take my chances. And then other people, they're just kind of, well, I don't care what they do with me. I've had people tell me they can just throw me away. I don't care when I'm dead. I don't care. Terrible situation, to be in. And then there's health insurance. Health insurance was better, but health insurance, you need to be licensed, appointed, contracted, and certified to sell insurance. And it is a pain. It's a pain. And once you get contracted, you have to take all these different, not only the licensing, but you go get contracted, and then you got to take, this thing called AHIP. If you're going to sell Medicare, or if you're going to sell ACA, the under 65, like Obamacare, you got to go and you got to take a FFM course, and you got to complete that, and then you got to, each of the individual carriers, you have to take one of their courses, and if something goes wrong where you need to change companies, or you decide you don't want to work with one company, it is extremely hard to get releases from these companies, and they make you wait like 90 days. And then during like open enrollment, which is in the fall and winter time, you can't leave. They don't. It's a blackout period where you can't change. And then any other type time during the year you got to wait 90 to 120 days to change over, and it's just it's messy, and there's a lot of competition. A lot of times you sign somebody up for the health insurance, and then they immediately turn around and they get some information from another agent, and another agent just steals them from you know from you, and it's a very and then there's a lot of record keeping. Like now they're really tough because there's a lot of unethical people out there, and the CMS, which is the part of the government, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, um, requires that all the recalls are recorded, and you maintain all the records and communications for like 10 years, and it's just a mess. And you got to have, when you're as a insurance agent, you got to have insurance to cover, called errors and admissions insurance, where you got to cover yourself in case you make a mistake and you tell somebody the wrong thing. It's a mess, and there's plenty of ways to get in trouble. And actually, I made a little bit of money with the insurance, but um, I was always like worried about things that people are funny about stuff like this. You know, somebody's health insurance, if you give them the wrong information, you could do some serious um, harm to them. You want to make a sale, but you don't. You also want to do right by the client, and you don't want to give them bad information. And sometimes that's what the errors and omission insurance is about. But you don't want anybody to not be insured because you made a mistake. And it's so easy in the business to make a mistake. I'm kind of glossing over it. There's a lot more details to it, but I'm trying to save you from, if you're thinking about being either a real estate agent, which we talked about yesterday, or an insurance agent. A lot of people make good money. There's the people who do it, but it's not something that, it's just like anything else. You can't say, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and give this a try and see how it works out. No, it's a total crusade. It's like, this is all that I'm going to do. I'm going to delve right into this, and I'm going to do everything I can. And with both real estate and insurance, not that I plan on or have any intention of getting in trouble, but in order to remain licensed, you got to be a citizen in good standing. And if you get any type of criminal conviction or something, you could lose. There goes your livelihood, because you got to be licensed. And you can lose your license. Somebody makes complaints about you, you can it's no joke. Your entire livelihood can be on the line. I believe in doing right by people. I'm just putting that out there that maybe you had a few much few too many drinks and you get pulled over. Well, you got a criminal record, and that can impact your insurance or your real estate license. Anything that requires a license, anything requires you to have a license from the state. You have to understand that that can be taken away from you, and things like that happen. There's a book called Three Felonies a Day. The average person commits three felonies, whether knowingly or unknowingly. The average person commits three felonies. There are so many laws on the books that they've actually lost count of how many laws that there are. So, do you really want to be in a business that can be taken away from you? Do you want to be in a situation that you build something and, stuff can happen? And, that's not likely to happen if you're a solid citizen, you keep your nose clean. That's not likely to happen, but it's a possibility. Surviving 20 years in the military on active duty and 10 in the State Department, I had to keep, you had to be very above board in the military and in the State Department. But it would be nice. I think it'd be better to have a business that's not you can operate the business and nobody can take it away from you. If you can develop skills and talents and abilities that are not tied to anybody giving you permission, because you got to have permission to be a real estate agent. You got to have permission to be um, an insurance agent. And if you don't have those permissions, or you lose those permissions, you know, you can lose your livelihood. And I'm just saying that stuff does happen, right? Is it likely? No. But if you're a good person and you're a solid citizen and you keep your nose clean, it's not likely to happen, but it's a possibility. Now, how does this tie in with Sparky AI? Well, Sparky AI, there's no licensing requirements. You know, there's still laws. You have to follow the laws in your jurisdiction that you're in, but there's no licensing requirements. You can pretty much do this anywhere in the world. Um, you tell people the honest truth about it. You don't. You operate ethically, and you'll be fine. And with Sparky AI is calling people, and that's one of the reasons why it really piqued my interest when Sparky AI was presented to me, was that the insurance people were developing uh, the the voice actuated artificial intelligence, and it worked in a similar way, but you still had to go and it didn't do all the work for you. It did a lot of it, but it didn't do all of it. And still, we're dealing with people. If you're going to sell final expense, you're dealing with people who are older, and so I just with Sparky AI it's just a better system. It's a system that you let the system do most of the work, and you're there to add that human touch to let the other person on the other end of the line know that you're a real person, just like they are, and you're trying to build a business just like they are, and you want them to join you. And because people, human beings are social creatures. We want to be a part of something. We want to join something. We want to know that there's a real person that we can reach out and communicate with, and not just a robot. Although the robot is great because the robot filters out all the people who are not interested, and then you're only working with people who are interested. So that leads me to the end of this video. What you can do, you can sign up, and you can. I don't want to tell people you can join for free. You can. There is a free membership, but the way to make money with this is to get involved and join as a premier member. $100 a month. That's the minimum, and you join us. You can get started by signing up for free, and then I will reach out to you, and then I will help you. Get started with Sparky AI. And if it's something where it's an issue where it's about putting funds together, and you don't have the money around you, I may be able to assist you. I may be able to assist you with some ideas in how to find that. Because like I said before, I've sold books on Amazon since 2016. I'm a seller on eBay. I write letters, and I make money writing letters. I have a bunch of different other odd things that make money. And we can find something that will work for you to help you accumulate money. I have a channel called Remote Work Entry Level, where I help people find entry-level remote jobs and side hustles that earn extra money. And it should not be too deep of a challenge to come up with $100 a month. I know, when you don't have it, it might as well be $1 million, but $100 a month. You think of all the other types of business opportunities out there, whether it's crypto or Forex or, network marketing or, other types of businesses. Most of these other types of opportunities require a substantial amount of time and money to get started. And Sparky AI, most of the time, the robot's doing most of the work, and you're getting started for a very nominal amount of money. I know there's a lot of businesses that they purport to be free, but really there's no free businesses out there. Anything that's free is basically they're just giving you free information so that you can make an informed decision, so that you can become a paid member. The paid member is where it's at. But again, like as far as a paid member, this is not going to break you. There's like this. You join a lot of companies, a lot of network marketing companies. They're like, okay, now you signed up. Now you either have a choice. You can either go out and buy leads, or do advertising, or buy solo ads, or however they market it, or you can go and burn through your warm market, and start making a list of everybody you know, and then employ the 15 feet, what is it, 15 inches rule, or 15 feet rule, or whatever that is, where anybody who you've come in contact with, you're going to hit up to join your network marketing program. And I think it's a terrible idea. I mean, some people are great at it. I know I had a coach that, is a seven-figure income earner, but this person is like the most dedicated and devoted person I've ever met in my entire life. Most disciplined. And I say this, I mean, being in the military, discipline is like one of the hallmarks of people in the military. Now, this guy wasn't never in the military, but I'll tell you, he was the most disciplined person because the way he operates is so methodical. I mean, everything is like amazing, and it's a crusade. And it's just like, I'm going to, there's no hesitation. I'm going to talk to everybody. And he's successful. And, and not everybody has the wherewithal to do that. A lot of people, like including myself, suffer from a lot of trauma, a lot of self-confidence issues. Let's just be honest about it. Sharing my vulnerabilities and all that, I think makes me real. And it's just like, this is something that, I don't like to twist anybody's arm. I don't like to like tell people, um, you know, you need to do this or that. I don't like that. I don't feel comfortable in those situations. I don't feel comfortable talking to somebody about their demise or their death. Like, hey, how you doing, John? You don't got that final life insurance. No, but Sparky AI. I mean, it's really about selling the dream. It's about selling the dream. It's like, what's your dream? Do you have, do you want to travel? Do you want to, pay off all your bills and give your family better Christmas presents and gifts? Because that's what's really important, and taking care of things and having a nice dinner and not worried about what it costs, and having these experiences. That's what's a lot of fun. That's what I'm really passionate about. It's very hard to be passionate about talking to somebody about life insurance. It just for me. Other people, they're like, they take to it like a duck takes to water. But Sparky AI really resonates with me because it filters out the people who are not interested, and then you're only dealing with people who are genuinely interested. They see the vision, they see it, and they want to be a part of it because it's huge. It's a big opportunity, and like I said, 97% of the people out there, they are sleepwalking, tiptoeing through life quietly to get to their grave, and you know this is what they've been conditioned. They've been conditioned to believe that the 40 hours a week for 40 years to make an average of $40,000. That's the 40-40-40 plan. So I encourage you to at least check out. Go to jefforlando.com, fill out the form. I will connect with you, and then we'll get you signed up as a premier member. We'll figure it out. We'll get you started. And next year, this time next year, when we're getting ready to go into 2026, I think that things are going to be very different. Not just for our financial futures, but I think they're going to be different. Technology-wise, and things are just growing like crazy. Like it's just change. Things are just changing. It's amazing what's going on. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you.